You probably finished your first playthrough with one of the weapons that you found in the early game, the saw spear, the axe, the cane. These are good weapons, but if you're starting a new character, why not start the game with the Blades of Mercy, the Reiterpallasch, or the Logarius Wheel? And contrary to popular belief, you can get these weapons fairly early. It might surprise you to hear this, but about 80% of the weapons can be found within a couple of hours of starting the game. We're going to track down these weapons fastest first. The first thing I wanted to get on this character was the Blades of Mercy, which is a short sword that snaps off into 2 small daggers. For these, we need the Crow Hunter's badge, and for that, we need to kill Eileen. As long as you haven't killed Gascoigne, Eileen can be found near the rafters above the sewers, and it's exactly these rafters that allow us to kill her this early in the game. So you start the encounter by doing as much damage as you can before she aggroes onto you. Charge an R2 and let her recover, and then wait a moment because she's still not aggroed, charge another, and this time perform a visceral attack. So now she's hostile, and she's low enough on health to die from gravity. Leg it back to the rafters and go straight across, but then you want to stand on the first rafter off to the left, but don't go too far along. And as you wait here, Eileen should fall off in the gap between the 2 rafters. Regardless of how you do it, it is important to get her to fall in the small channel in the middle. Otherwise, she'll survive the fall. And if she does survive the fall, then Molotov cocktails are your best friend for killing her at this point. Now that you have the Crow Hunter badge, you'll be able to buy the Blades of Mercy and the Crow Feather set from the messengers in the dream. Be warned though, by killing her here, you miss out on her questline, which allows you to pick up a couple of gestures, 2 runes, and the Hunter of Hunters Covenant. If you want to get the blades without killing her, then you'll have to follow her questline all the way until Rom, the vacuous spider, so this is a much faster way of doing it. Back up on top of the rafters is a chain that suspends the saw spear, an alternate version of the saw cleaver. You can pick this up here, or you can buy it along with all the other starting weapons once you get the Saw Hunter's badge. The Saw Hunter's badge is further along in the sewers, behind the giant pig in the tunnel. Next, the Kirkhammer, which is an awesome strength weapon that's a sword and great hammer, and the repeating pistol, which shoots 2 bullets at once. Simply kill the cleric beast to unlock these at the messenger's bath. Next up is the Flamesprayer, a flamethrower weapon that consumes quicksilver bullets. Make sure you talk to Gilbert at this window by the Central Yharnam lantern, and then after you kill Gascoigne, go back to Gilbert and he'll give it to you. It's as simple as that. Now we move into Old Yharnam. As soon as you encounter the Saw Spear Hunter, you look back at the building you just dropped off, and then to the left of that building there's a little drop-down area. Go inside the building, go up the stairs, and behind the cabinet is a rifle spear, a spear/halberd hybrid with a shotgun built into the L2 of the halberd. Also in Old Yharnam is the Hunter's Torch. As soon as you walk out from the lantern, drop off this ledge and run around the building to the left. The Hunter's Torch boasts way more damage and way better scaling than the regular torch you find in Central Yharnam. It's actually a fairly good weapon, especially against beasts because they're weak to fire. And while we're in Old Yharnam, let's kill Jura at the top of the tower for the Powder Keg badge. Now the Powder Keg badge unlocks the stake driver and the rifle spear for purchase. As soon as you get atop his tower, just shoot him 4 times with a pistol to knock him off, or dash forward and blast him once or twice with your shotgun. Reload your game, and the badge will be sitting atop the tower for you. At the end of Old Yharnam is the Blood-Starved Beast, and if you kill it, then it'll unlock a bunch of new paths, which hide 3 new weapons. So once it's dead, warp to Cathedral Ward, and you'll notice this door off to the right has opened. Head inside, and then ascend the church workshop to discover the Radiant Sword Hunter's badge at the top. This unlocks Ludwig's Holy Blade, a great sword that snaps off into a longsword, and Ludwig's rifle, which is a shotgun, and also the Flamesprayer, in case you didn't get it earlier. And now guys, we get into the really good stuff, the stuff you might have missed in your playthrough. So after the Blood-Starved Beast is dead, Snatchers will appear throughout the world. They're these big dudes carrying a sack, and if you die to one, you'll get dragged off to the Hypergen jail. One Snatcher that's easy to get to is the one below the church workshop. To get to this Snatcher, so you can die to it, you go right from the Cathedral Ward lamp, you approach the workshop, you go around to the right of the workshop and you drop down, and then you continue dropping down all the way to the bottom, and then you run through the village until you find a Snatcher. So just die to it on purpose here, and you'll awaken in the Hypergen jail. And once you've awakened, head up the rotating staircase and make sure you hit that lamp. If you're still listening to this long description, you just run through the hall until you get outside, and then you turn left and you run down the street that's filled with dogs. Don't bother to kill anything, it's a hassle, so just run to the very end, and guarded by another snatcher and 2 dogs is the Tonitrus, which is a one-handed lightning mace. Pressing L2 on this weapon doesn't change its form, but it does imbue it with a lightning effect for a short time. Alternatively, you can get the Tonitrus by killing Paarl, who's at the bottom of the jail, but he's quite a difficult boss at this stage of the game. After you've killed Amelia and triggered the cutscenes, the world state changes and a couple of NPCs will move. And if you've talked to Alfred before, then you'll now find him here, off to the side of the church courtyard, and just above that password guy that takes you to the next area. Now that he's in his second location, he actually drops the Wheel Hunter badge upon death, which means we're going to kill him because this unlocks the weapon Logarius Wheel for purchase. He's incredibly tough to kill if you try and kill him legit, so let's cheese him a little. For this, you'll want at least 20 Quicksilver bullets, a blunderbuss, and a hunter's axe. We're going to get him in an endless visceral attack cycle. So first, put your hunter's axe in its shortened form and charge an R2. We're going to try and hit him so he gets stuck in between the coffin and the wall, and he actually starts in the perfect location for this. So once you have him here, he should be hostile. Start madly shooting at him, and the chances are very, very high that you'll parry one of his attacks as long as you're using the blunderbuss. So visceral attack, and then once he's on the ground, you immediately charge your R2 to bring him standing upright again, and as soon as he's standing upright, you start mashing L2 to shoot again. Your second shot will always be timed perfectly with this method. So you visceral attack, you charge the R2, you shoot him twice, you visceral attack, you charge the R2, you shoot him twice, and just repeat that ad nauseum. It's as simple as that. If you do mess this up, then you can just try and parry him into a corner, and you'll be able to replicate this perfectly. The Logarius Wheel is quickly becoming one of my favorite weapons. And the next item is the Rosmarinus. It's similar to the Flamesprayer, except it sprays this grey mist instead. If you get enough build-up on an enemy, it inflicts this stacking effect that's somewhat similar to the poison effect. I'm not exactly sure how it works actually, though I believe it works very well with an arcane build. You'll need the Cosmic Eye Watcher badge to unlock this weapon, and you'll have to progress all the way to Rom before it's even possible to get this. Once Rom is dead, the path to Yahar'gul is open. In Yahar'gul, you'll need to find the Upper Cathedral Ward Key. Remember this courtyard with the amygdala that shoots lasers at you? Well, there's a gap in the right side of the fence, which you should drop down to. Explore within, drop down a few times, and you'll eventually find the Upper Cathedral Ward Key. So you take this key back to Cathedral Ward, and you go all the way up the church workshop until you come to this locked door. Then you progress far within, and just keep exploring and killing enemies until you inevitably come to this big, dark, open area. In a hallway to the right of the main staircase, leading down, you'll find the Cosmic Eye Watcher badge, which unlocks the Rosmarinus, poison knives, blue elixirs, sedatives, and twin bloodstone shards. Now let's talk about the weapons you can get by doing a little skip at the start of the game. To be honest, I do this skip on every one of my characters now because I love the knight set, and I really like the rapier you find in Cainhurst Castle, so I'm really keen to share it with you. I hope they don't patch it, but they might. But anyway, to do it, you warp to the Central Yharnam lamp, and then you go down until you find that dead end with the executioner. Make sure you unlock this gate, because we might have to use it to get a quick run back if you mess this up, and then go and kill the executioner. Then you face this coffin on the ground at this exact angle, and attempt to jump just as soon as your foot touches the coffin. After a few tries, maybe 10 or 20 tries, you'll glitch up here onto this wall. Run along it to the right until you approach the sacks. Then step onto the sacks, turn around, and face the fence in an angle that you see here. We're going to do a charge attack with the saw cleaver, and it will propel us just far enough that we clip through the fence and land on the opposite side of the fence. If you do mess this up, then run through the gate we just unlocked and try again, because we do want to land on the other side of the fence. Run along the fence once you successfully do this, and then drop down on the other side. And now you're behind Yosefka's clinic way earlier than you're supposed to be. And there are two different paths from here. The ladder down leads to the Forbidden Forest and the cannon weapon, and going up to Jesper's clinic will allow you to get the Cainhurst summons, which allows you to get to Cainhurst Castle much faster, and Cainhurst Castle holds the Reiterpallasch, the Evelyn, the Night Set, and the Chikage. Let's get those items first. Once you have the summons, you can speedrun your way to the Grand Cathedral, and then you turn left onto Hemwick Charnel Lane. At the end, make sure you kill the Witches of Hemwick, and then you double back and stand at this pillar to activate the Cainhurst travel cutscene. As soon as you arrive in Cainhurst, the Reiterpallasch is waiting for you in the main hall, in a chest off to the right. The Reiterpallasch, which I've been pronouncing differently every time I say it, is a rapier that transforms into a shorter rapier and gun. Progress further into the castle until you reach the room with the elevator. On the right side of the room is a short staircase. Run up it and jump to get inside this group of tables that hides a chest. Inside is the Evelyn, a stylish, high blood tinge scaling pistol. Continue up the main staircase to reach level 2. On level 2, you'll spot a broken window on the other side. Drop down carefully to the paved area below, and then go inside the first door you see. You're now on the other side of level 1. In one of the chests in this room is the Night Set, which isn't a weapon, but it's awesome, and if you progress further outside, you'll eventually pull a lever that opens up the path to the boss of Cainhurst Castle. Martyr Logarius is a tough fight for an early character, but if you do beat him, then you can put on his crown and unlock the next area and the next weapon. Talk to the Queen, get her badge by joining the Covenant, and you'll be able to purchase the Chikage from the messengers. If you want the cannon, you'll have to go to the Forbidden Forest. Go down this ladder immediately after the skip we did before, and then go through a swamp-like area and you'll end up in the Forbidden Forest around the dog cages. Find the short, flammable swamp nearby, run through, and then run towards the next stretch where someone fires a cannon at you, and you'll eventually arrive at this dark watchtower. You just get up on the balcony, you go up a ladder, and drop off the rafters until you find this item, which is the cannon. It requires 30 strength, consumes 10 quicksilver bullets per shot, but damn does this thing pack a punch. It's pretty much a must-have for a strength build, I'd say. Next up are the Beast Claws, the only weapon that's found exclusively within the Chalice dungeons. To start, you'll have to have killed Amelia, and then you'll need to get the Tonsil Stone from one of the many windows you can find patches in. Get grabbed by the invisible amygdala to the right of the Grand Cathedral, and then progress through the Lecture Hall and Nightmare Frontier, and then kill Amygdala. Amygdala drops the Ailing Laran Chalice. To activate the Ailing Laran Chalice, you'll need 9 level 4 Ritual Blood, which is found within Depth 3 and Depth 4 Chalice dungeons. To put it simply, just progress as far as you can through the Tumero Chalice dungeon, which you should have unlocked by killing the blood-starved beast, and in Central Tumero you'll find the Hintertomb Chalice, which in turn leads to the unlocking of the Lower Hintertomb Chalice. I ran Lower Hintertomb a couple of times until I had 9 level 4 Ritual Blood. Then I also bought 4 Cold Blood Flower Buds from the Insight Messengers to unlock the Ailing Laran Chalice. God, it's almost as boring explaining this as it actually was to farm all those materials. But anyway, once you've unlocked the Ailing Laran Chalice, simply progress until you've defeated the first boss of the first layer. Go down 1 elevator after this, and then immediately turn to the side passage in the hallway before you touch the second lantern. At the end of this side passage is a treasure room that contains the Beast Claw. The Beast Claw is a one-handed claw weapon that transforms your other hand into a beast-like state. And the one weapon I wish you could get earlier is the Burial Blade, the curved sword that snaps into a scythe. It's available for purchase after you kill Gurman. Killing Gurman immediately takes you to New Game Plus, but there is a way to avoid this. First, gather the 3rd umbilical cords and consume 3 before you kill Gurman. Once the Blood Moon is triggered from killing Rom, you get 1 from killing Jesper, 1 from killing Ariana's baby, 1 from the Old Hunter's Workshop, and another from Murgo's Wet Nurse. If you consume 3 before killing Gurman, it triggers another fight after Gurman. So consume the cords, kill Gurman, and make sure you die to the Moon Presence boss that follows. This will take you to the Hunter's Dream, and it will leave all of your shortcuts intact, and basically allows you to stay in your game with the Burial Blade without going to New Game Plus. So I hope you enjoy this. I'm sorry about my voice in this video, I'm really quite sick at the moment. But leave a like if you enjoyed it. Hopefully this helps you build the character you want to build as soon as possible. And I also recommend going to the Fextralife wiki, especially if you're trying to find the Beast Claws in the Chalice dungeon, because the write-up the Fextralife wiki has on the Chalice dungeons is really good and should really help you there. But other than that, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.